I'm about to share something that might make you uncomfortable. But if you're a senior struggling to connect with your adult children, this could save your family relationships. The biggest mistake you're making isn't what you think it is. Here's the truth nobody wants to admit. Most family breakdowns don't happen because of one big argument. They happen because of small communication errors repeated over and over again. And the worst part? You probably don't even realize you're doing them. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you had a real conversation with your adult child? Not about their job or the weather. I mean a genuine heart-to-heart where you both felt heard and understood. If you can't remember, you're not alone. Thousands of seniors are making the same mistakes every single day. The first mistake is giving unsolicited advice. You've lived longer. You've seen more. You know better. Right? Wrong. When you constantly offer advice without being asked, you're sending a message that your adult children can't handle their own lives. They hear criticism when you mean to help. Think about it from their perspective. They're trying to build their own lives, make their own decisions, and establish themselves as capable adults. Every time you jump in with advice, you're essentially saying they're not competent enough to figure it out themselves. This creates resentment over time. The solution is simple but requires discipline. Wait to be asked. When you see your daughter struggling with a decision, resist the urge to tell her what to do. Instead, ask questions. Help her think through the problem herself. This shows respect for her autonomy and builds her confidence. Here's a powerful phrase to use instead of giving advice. Try saying this. I trust your judgment on this. You know your situation better than I do. This simple statement does two things. It validates their capability and it opens the door for them to ask for your input if they want it. The second major mistake is comparing them to others. You might think you're motivating them when you mention how well their cousin is doing or how their sibling handled a similar situation. But what they hear is that they're not good enough. They hear disappointment. Comparisons are toxic to relationships. They create competition where there should be support. They make your children feel like they're constantly being measured against an impossible standard. And here's the kicker. Even positive comparisons can backfire because they put pressure on the person being praised. Stop making comparisons completely. Focus on appreciating each person for who they are, not how they measure up to someone else. Celebrate their unique strengths and accomplishments without reference to anyone else. This creates a safe space where they can be themselves without judgment. The third mistake is bringing up the past during current conflicts. You remember everything they did wrong 20 years ago. You bring it up to make your point. But this destroys trust and makes them feel like they can never escape their mistakes. When you constantly reference past failures, you're telling your children that you don't believe people can change or grow. You're stuck in a time when they were different people. This prevents healing and keeps old wounds open. It also makes them defensive because they feel attacked from multiple angles at once. The fix requires conscious effort. Deal with current issues only. When you're discussing a problem, stick to what's happening now. Leave the past in the past unless it's directly relevant and helpful to the current situation. This shows that you recognize their growth and gives them space to be who they are today. Mistake number 4 is invalidating their feelings. They express frustration or sadness. You respond with phrases like you're overreacting or it's not that bad or you're too sensitive. These responses shut down communication faster than anything else. When you invalidate feelings, you're essentially telling someone that their emotional experience is wrong. But feelings aren't right or wrong. They just are. By dismissing their emotions, you're teaching them not to share with you. Over time, this creates emotional distance that's hard to bridge. Instead of invalidating, try validating even when you don't fully understand. Say things like I can see this is really affecting you or that sounds really difficult. You don't have to agree with their perspective to acknowledge their feelings. This simple shift can transform your conversations. The fifth communication error is making everything about you. Your child shares a problem. You immediately launch into a story about when you faced something similar. You think you're relating. They think you're making it about yourself. This mistake happens because you genuinely want to help by sharing your experience. But timing is everything. When someone is in the middle of expressing their feelings or concerns, they need to be heard first. They need to feel understood before they can receive your wisdom or stories. Practice active listening instead. Let them finish completely. Ask follow-up questions. Show genuine interest in their experience. Only after they feel heard should you consider sharing your own story. And even then, ask permission first. Would it help if I shared how I handled something similar? Mistake number 6 is using guilt as a manipulation tool. Phrases like "after all I've done for you" or "I sacrificed so much and this is how you treat me" might get short-term compliance. But they destroy long-term relationships. Guilt tripping creates resentment and obligation instead of genuine love and respect. Your children didn't ask to be born. The sacrifices you made were your choice as a parent. While it's natural to want appreciation, demanding it through guilt undermines the very connection you're trying to maintain. It turns your relationship into a transaction rather than a bond. Express your needs directly instead. Rather than saying "you never visit me anymore," try "I miss spending time with you and would love to see you more often." This communicates the same desire without the guilt and manipulation. It opens dialogue instead of creating defensiveness. The 7th and perhaps most damaging mistake is refusing to apologize or admit when you're wrong. You're the parent. You're older. You think apologizing undermines your authority. But refusing to apologize when you've made a mistake teaches your children that relationships don't require accountability. Admitting you're wrong doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. It shows emotional maturity and models healthy conflict resolution. When you apologize sincerely, you're teaching your children that it's okay to make mistakes as long as you take responsibility for them. A genuine apology has 3 parts. Acknowledge what you did wrong specifically. Express understanding of how it affected them. Commit to doing better. For example, "I'm sorry I criticized your parenting in front of the kids. I can see that embarrassed you and undermined your authority. I'll make sure to talk to you privately if I have concerns in the future." Now let's talk about why these mistakes are so common among seniors. Many of you grew up in a different era where parent-child relationships were more hierarchical. Respect meant obedience. Communication was one-directional. But times have changed and so have expectations for family relationships. Modern families value mutual respect and open dialogue. Adult children expect to be treated as equals in conversations, not as perpetual children who need constant guidance. This shift can feel threatening if you're used to being the authority figure, but embracing it can lead to deeper, more authentic relationships. The good news is that it's never too late to change these patterns. Even if you've been making these mistakes for years, you can start fresh today. Your adult children want a good relationship with you. They're often willing to meet you halfway if you show genuine effort to communicate better. Start by choosing one mistake to work on. Don't try to fix everything at once. Pick the error you make most often and focus on changing that behavior. Notice when you're about to do it and pause. Choose a different response. Over time, this becomes easier and more natural. Here's something powerful you can do right now. Reach out to your adult child and acknowledge that you haven't always communicated well. You don't need to list every mistake. Just express that you want to improve your relationship and you're willing to work on it. This vulnerability can open doors that have been closed for years. Remember that changing communication patterns takes time. You'll slip up. You'll fall back into old habits. That's normal and expected. The key is to keep trying and to apologize when you mess up. Progress isn't perfection. It's consistent effort over time. Your family relationships are worth the work. The alternative is growing older with increasing distance from the people you love most. Every conversation is an opportunity to build connection or create distance. Choose connection. Choose to listen. Choose to validate. Choose to respect their autonomy. The legacy you leave isn't just about the material things you pass down. It's about the quality of relationships you maintained. It's about whether your children and grandchildren remember you as someone who loved them well and communicated with respect. That legacy starts with the choices you make today. So here's your challenge. Take one of these 7 mistakes and commit to changing it this week. Notice when you're about to make that error and choose differently. Then watch what happens. You might be surprised at how quickly your relationships begin to heal when you change how you communicate. Your family is waiting for you to make the first move. They want connection just as much as you do. These simple changes in how you communicate can repair years of damage and create the close relationships you've always wanted. The question is, are you willing to do the work? The answer to that question will determine the quality of your family relationships for the rest of your life.